What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, here for Rebels with a Cause on our new night, and it's going to be permanent for a while because basketball season is right around the corner. Yes, can you believe it, guys? We are at the end of October, Halloween next week. You know, the last couple of seasons of the regular season of football, it just goes by so fast. You wait for it, and here we are, here at the end of the week 10, starting a lot of big games, a lot of region matchups. We're going to talk about it. Our Rebels region play going into the Devil's Den to play halls. We're going to talk about that. But we got to also talk about that big win Thursday night over one of the best teams in the area, in the state, especially in their classification 4A, Anderson County. That was a grown man win by the Rebels. It was definitely a lot of cojones showed. When you're up and then you get punched in the face and give up 27 unanswered points. You're at home, it's senior night, and you decide, hey, we ain't done yet, and you score 13 unanswered right back at them and ultimately win the game. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover, and I'm excited for that group of guys. And if you haven't checked out some of the post-game comments from those players, definitely check them out on the website. There on our YouTube channel, and we'll have more that we've been uploading. I've been busy with work and so forth, but that's just how everything is going right now and so forth. But it's an exciting time of year. A lot of college football to talk about. Big win for the Vols over Alabama. Playing with fire, man. 3 games in a row, not scoring any points in the first half, and luckily for you, you've only lost one of those games, and it was the game that you didn't think you would lose. But that's what happens, in this crazy season of football. But Tennessee not out of it, but still got a big one against Georgia. All of these games are going to be big, but they've got to have faster starts, especially if they're on the road against specific teams like a Georgia, even a Mississippi State. So we'll talk about that too. But big win for the Vols, and it's really amazing what Josh Heupel has done in a couple of years now at the program, where it seemed like we could never beat Florida and Alabama in the same season, and now he has done it 2 times out of the last 3 years. Let that sink in, guys. So it's been a long time since Tennessee's beaten Florida and Alabama in 2 out of the last 3 years and so forth, from what I can recollect, because they had streaks on us that felt like never ending during those dark years of the program, and a merry-go-round of coaches that shouldn't have been coaches at this program. But we'll talk about that. Well, lot to talk about tonight, but got some housekeeping business that I want to get to first. First and foremost, the views and opinions of this program are not affiliated with those of any other organization or of West High School. These are solely the RWAC crew, myself, the Italian Stallion, two-pair Tate, Brian Tate, and the coach, stats man himself, Mr. Shane O'Mac, Shane McGee. So keep that in mind when you're watching this show. Also want to give some love out to a couple of our sponsors. Knoxville Coffee Company, Mr. Alex Thatcher, a class of 2003 grad from West High School. Go check out his coffee shop there off of Sutherland Avenue in the heart of Marble City. That brew is good any time of the day. Him and his daddy make it with a lot of love, so show them a lot of love, and go get you a bag, and you won't be disappointed. I promise you that. Also, need to give a shout out to my gals, Kim Castle and Rachel Davis over at King's Chamber. You definitely got to get them looked at. Today I had a manicure, and you'll definitely see that picture on my Facebook page. I had a pedicure last 2 Saturdays ago. It was absolutely phenomenal. They even have now a massage chair. So it's just getting better and better, more things. So definitely check them out. You won't be disappointed. They take care of your hair, whatever you want, shaves, razor, or whether it's just with the blade. The regular shoulder massages, the waxes, definitely go pay them a visit, and always entertaining and very therapeutic. It is the true royal treatment for us kings, and we deserve that with all the stuff that we put up with on a daily basis, and you can take that any other way you want to look at it. But that being said, it is Rebels with a Cause. It's our new night, 9 o'clock, and remember, that cause don't stop when the clock hits zero, baby. So just keep that in mind more than anything. But lots to talk about. Want to get to it tonight by first bringing on one of my co-hosts. As you know, he is one of our beloved friends, class of 2003, former West Rebel. And I will say this about him: got so much love and heart for his kids, and just very passionate about everything he does. And if you need an electrician, I'm going to give him the floor. So just in case he needs to do some freelance work, you definitely give him a call. He is our stats guy. He pulls up everything that we need to talk about. And he's also been nicknamed by our very own quarterback, Parker Dubon, as the coach. And he's got a big one tomorrow night to coach, no pun intended, as his middle school team has a big playoff game against Austin East. But I'll let him talk all about it as I bring him on. Everybody, wherever you're at, whether you're listening live or recorded, wherever, Marble City, Westmoreland Hills, Rocky Hill, Bearden Elementary, Western Avenue, Lonsdale, Sequoia, wherever. Make it loud, make it proud, show him some love. He is our coach, our stats guy, the one, the only, Shane O'Mac, Mr. Shane McGee. Let's give it up, baby.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up? Thank you for the high words. Had wipe the tears away because my middle daughter, my senior, sent me some videos tonight that got dad a little emotional, but I love that my kids love me, so that's all that matters to me. As long as I'm doing what I can for them, life is good.
Can I ask you something? Shane, like you just brought up something. I mentioned that we're in week 10 of the high school football season, and it's just crazy. It felt like just yesterday we were getting ready for school to start. We were doing our live game day show from Bearden High School. But here you have a daughter that is now kind of entering that second part of that first semester, fall semester. I mean, what's that like, man? It's just going by fast. I mean, it's almost November, for goodness sakes.
It goes by so fast. And unfortunately, I didn't get to experience it with my oldest daughter because school just didn't work out for a lot of stuff that she had to go through. So she ended up having to drop out junior year. So I'm getting to experience it all right now. And it's crazy to me because I can remember this little ball. Like, she was born preemie and I was in the NICU with her. Now I'm looking at her. She's 5'6", 145 pounds, and about to walk out the door here in a couple months. I'm like, where's the time gone? Like, it just flies by so quick.
It does.
And I look at her brother. I'm like, dang, he's 11. And I'm like, remembering, like, everything still feels like yesterday with all of them. And it's crazy. Like, I got my oldest one got her car today. I'm proud of her for that. And, this one's about to go off to college. And my other one's about to start hitting the weight room. I'm like, man, so parents, enjoy it. If you're a young parent, enjoy the time. It goes by quick.
It does.
Because, I mean, like I said, I remember first days of school. I remember every single thing with my kids. And the next thing I know, they're about to head out the door. It goes by quick. Cherish that time. If you aren't involved, like there's people who aren't, be involved. Your kids will thank you a million times. They'd rather you be there and be involved in what you pay for. So
yeah, no, and it's true. And you want to know something? Speaking of that, we've commented on it thousands of times before on this show. It feels like, but I think that the West parents are some of the best parents in terms of how they support this football team, the noise that they make. Funny enough story. Do you know that the refs for the game for Anderson County West actually made an announcement for the press box to make an announcement to not make artificial noise? I mean, can you imagine? It was too loud. I mean, and that was a ref's call or what have you. And I don't know where the refs were from. If you read the coach team message boards, I think West got every call that was possible, to be honest with you. And I don't even think that that's true. But truth be told, it's hilarious that there were bad calls on both ways. But truth be told, no disrespect to Anderson County, they were a very undisciplined football team. I mean, they were making personal foul calls, hitting the quarterback late, and we took advantage of it. And for once, West was not the most penalized team, and that was very, very crucial to why West jumped out to the 17-0 lead, just to
A
kind of,
lot.
reiterate things.
Speak on officials. Last Thursday, while West was taking on Anderson County, we had a crew. Now, these crews were the same normal crews that work high school games. Never in my years of playing football or coaching football, so we're talking 33 years of my life, I've never in that time frame seen the chains on the home side ran by the home side.
Really? Really? Okay.
They're supposed to be on the opposite side, so you can't
Yes.
coach. They can't do anything. They were on the AE side the whole game.
Really?
I was worried watching penalties be called and the chain crew start moving before the flag was even like they get a first down, but it'd be a flag. So the chain crew would move. The refs weren't marking where the play was at, and we're getting screwed out of positions. Like, you flip the field after quarters and stuff. We'll sometimes flip it at the quarter, we'll flip at the half, just depending on the officials. We crossed the 50 at the end of one of the quarters. I think it was third quarter. They flipped the field. They left us on our 46, flipped the field, but we lost all that yardage. So we were on the opposite 46 and lost all that yardage we just got.
Wow.
So I've already been warned to watch my mouth tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm. Well,
there's a lot of F-bombs from our staff.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because Lamar, Coach Brown usually stays composed, but there was such a bad call made where they called a late hit, and it felt like it was just a normal football play by Abel Ancelot, and they actually called a late hit out of bounds. And I mean, he was still in bounds when he made the hit, and these refs are making some judgment calls, and it's like you might be determining extending drives with that stuff. So
they gave the opposing team in my game a touchdown. The kid went down at the 2. Clock expired. He was down, knee down at the 2. He then extends afterwards, crosses the goal line.
Oh, wow.
This is one, he was down by contact. He was down to 2. If he wasn't down by contact, this isn't the NFL to where you're not dead. College, it's obviously dead. High school, it's dead. Middle school, it's dead because we play by TSSAA rules. The ref was at the 35-yard line and called a touchdown.
Wow.
Me and another coach, we made it past the numbers yelling. Like he was down. Parents were getting rowdy. That was probably some of the worst officiating I've experienced in a long time since I've left Tarleton.
I've always wondered about that. How can an official make a call when he's that far back? Because it's happened a lot during even Wes's games where some officials are calling either holding or something from a weird angle, and it's like, was there even anything going on over there on that side and so forth? And they've even huddled up. I talked about some of the really bad calls. Not that it really determined the outcome again, the Alcoa game, but there were some calls during that game. And that's why I remember during basketball season, I had asked Two Pair, I said, some of this basketball officiating is terrible. What's a foul?
I know that we are low on officials.
Yeah.
You're going to bring new guys in. You got to get them coached up to understand these rules, and they got to understand them quick. Because I've had the same issue on Saturday with my son's last game. So 6th grade plays on Saturday, 7th and 8th graders play on Thursday.
What's up, Larry Frank? Thank you for the love, brother. Thank you for the love.
And same issue. Chains on the home side, and it's all the same coaches. We're all out there. The head ref looked over at our sideline. It was like, y'all can meet me in the parking lot afterwards. Like, dude, you're supposed to be holding all of us.
Wow.
It took me back to this has been years ago. There was a bowl game back when youth football did bowl games on the weekends for fundraisers, and a ref pulled a knife on either a coach or a parent in the parking lot at Central.
took it that seriously. I mean, my
Yeah,
goodness,
he,
like,
he looked over at us and was like, "Y'all can meet me in the parking lot afterwards." I was like, "Damn, bro!" Like,
yeah.
it's like I'm mad, but I ain't trying to like go to jail, mad.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the one thing. I've not been to a middle school game in a long time, and I guess it's getting late to catch one this season. I'll definitely try to
Come on, catch one tomorrow. Come on, catch one tomorrow. We'll be at
I'll
8.
try. Yeah, I'll try. Hey, you know, it's been so difficult with my work schedule being, working 9 to 8 with all these storms and everything. And the damage has just been endless. I mean, and I really feel for those people, especially now that it's getting cold outside and everything. It's just one of those things that I really feel for these people that are displaced from homes and so forth,
Yeah,
But,
I got thrown in at linebacker coach tonight. Normally I do special teams for the 7th and 8th grade.
uh-huh.
Like, Shay, we need you linebacker coach. So I was like, gotcha. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So, but yeah, but I know it's wrapping up. I mean, I know it's wrapping down, and we've got your season's wrapping up, and now you've got these games coming up that are huge this week. I mean, you've got Maryville, Alcoa, you've got West versus Halls, you've got Powell steps out of region play and goes and plays McMinn County. McMinn County's actually in play to try to win Region 4 at this point. They're in the running with Walker Valley for that. So it's just kind of intriguing, these matchups. I mean,
If what I'm seeing is correct, also speak about this week's games. Alcoa having 2 games this week.
yes, yeah. I think Alcoa has 2 games.
I'm not sure what district Union County's in.
They're I believe they're a 4A school. They're
Are
a
they
4A
3
school.
or 4A?
They're 4A, I believe. So I think they're 4A. I believe they are. So, but yeah, but there was a makeup game because Alcoa's only played 6 games this year. Like everybody else is like on game 8. And I know that they've had difficulty filling their schedule. Last year they had a team from New York came. I guess Alcoa didn't want to make that return trip and couldn't really find anybody to take that slot. So basically that was a bye week for them, where last year it was against the team from New York, Binghamton, that they beat. So, but Maryville's played 8 games and Alcoa's played 6 games. So you see 5-1 versus 8-0, and it's the Battle of Pistol Creek, and I believe the game is at Maryville this year, if I'm not mistaken. It's Maryville Senior Day, and that's just going to be a hell of an atmosphere. Russell Bivin and that crew is going to have that game of the week. So on the Friday night.
The Union County's got 2 region games. They're playing Alcoa. Alcoa is Monday, and Austin East is Friday.
Yeah, then that makes sense because they're all in the same region. So actually, Union County, I guess, is a 3A school or whatever now. So there we go. So okay,
We'll get to the new alignment going into next.
Oh my God. So that's part of the big news. It broke today. Alcoa's moving up to 4A. And if you heard that sound, it was a bunch of teams that felt that they were nice and cozy in 4A, at least on this side of the state, and maybe even on the other side of the state. And things are about to get real. And I am already going to make a prediction right now, and I could be wrong. But you have the opportunity to play up. You can't play down. And if you don't feel like you can compete like poor Howard, who is represented by our friend of the show, Ryan Perry, they are going to be moving up to 6A. They can't even compete in 5A right now. And so realistically, they're going to be going as an independent. And so, you're going to have some teams that are going to be making the move. And I just think with Alcoa making the move, I will not be surprised to see a Greenville or even an Anderson County jump up to 5A. I will not be shocked with that.
I personally never thought Alcoa would make the jump. We talked about this for years.
Yes.
Especially back when Fulton was good.
Yeah.
Like there's always they're never gonna make the jump. They're gonna keep running like they do.
Yeah.
And to see them move up, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious how they'll do in 4A. And are we talking about in a couple more years they can make it to either 5 or 6A?
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is a lot of it falls on the enrollment numbers. And the thing I wanted to ask you, Shane, is that these enrollment numbers. Can I just be fair? Because and here's where I'm going to be careful with what I say, because you had a daughter that played football with the boys and so forth like that. So here's the deal. The thing is most schools don't have a girl on their football team. So my question is this: would it be more fair that the enrollment be based on how many boys are in your school as opposed to the overall? Do you see what I'm saying there? If
I
that
get
makes
what
sense.
you're saying, but
Yeah.
I still think it comes down to a 1 second. 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. So, yeah, no problem. But yeah, I mean, that's just something in the chat box. I hope that if anybody's watching, definitely throw your opinion out there. I mean, I was just kind of looking at it that I'm fine with where West is at. If West wants to stay in 5A, great. If West ever wanted to go up to 6A, go for it. See where you fall, against the big boys. I mean, West is already playing 3 teams from 6A on their schedule. So, I mean, I look at that from a standpoint that realistically, these teams can do whatever they want schedule wise. It's more about the playoffs and who you're going to go up against. And Alcoa has scheduled the Beardens, the Wests, Maryville, obviously. It gets them ready and it makes their opponents in 3A not very challenging. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. Now they're moving up to 4A and they will have a challenge from, maybe a Gibbs or an Anderson County or a Greenville, which they've already taken care of Greenville. So I'm just kind of at this point very, very intrigued by what these other teams are going to do. Now, if you're a 3A school, the Loudons and the Gatlinburg Pittmans, they're cheering to the heavens because they've had some good teams these last few years. And it was always ending either in round 3 or round 4 against Alcoa, pretty much. I mean, that's what it was. It was pretty much like, thanks for having a nice season. It's done against Alcoa. So I say that from a standpoint that I just feel that it's going to be very intriguing that how the dominoes fall with this, and I think my guy Two Pair is ready to come on. He had a little bit of we had a little bit of a snafu. We thought that we were going to do 9 o'clock this evening, but he thought 9:30. But we'll get it worked out. Things are changing as we now adapt with this Wednesday schedule and basketball seasons games Tuesday and Friday now entering the fold. So please forgive us. Our Rebels with the Cause family and so forth. But Two Pair, are you good to go, bud?
Hey, give me a minute. I'll be right back. Okay.
All right, no problem. So, all right, let me see here. I'm going to give him this proper introduction to get him on. Um, you know him. You know him as the voice of the Runnin' Rebels and the Lady Rebels, but you are going to be knowing him as the voice of the Pellissippi State Panthers come this fall. He is our 2003 Mr. West. He is the hardest working guy in the business. He has so much passion and love for West High School. He has so much energy and really calls those games with so much passion. And him and me have a little bit of a friendly business on Saturday. And let me tell you something. It's a rivalry game. It's Miami versus Florida State. It doesn't matter. You throw the records out. It's going to be a war, 7 o'clock Saturday night on ESPN and so forth. But we'll love each other as soon as the game is over and so forth like that. But he's got some love for the U. I know he does. And there's some Florida State players that at times I always kind of looked and said, man, they would have looked damn good in orange and green. But that being said, I want to bring him on because I know he's got a lot to talk about. Of course, we're going to talk about that Anderson County big win, preview the Halls game, talk about UT Alabama, and also this news about Alcoa jumping up to 4A and how these dominoes are going to fall with other teams. So without further ado, you please give him the respect that he deserves. Honor him, whether you're watching it live or recorded. The one, the only, Two Pair Tate, Brian Tate. What is up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Doing good.
Sorry for the snafu, man. I thought I had said 9 o'clock, but if it was 9:30, that's my bad on that one, brother.
Well, no, it's always going at 9:30.
Yeah, we do. So shoot, that's my bad. So
I was like, oh man, we're on right now.
Yeah, no, but we're good. No, we've really just kind of been talking about just how it's so crazy to think we're in week 10 already when we were just yesterday doing a live show from Catholic and Bearden High School right when the season was starting, and now we're at the end of October.
Yeah.
Halloween's next week. It's playoff time practically. These 2 weeks and the games that are going to be played on this stage, determining region championships, determining seeding in the playoffs, whether you travel, whether you even get in. I'm telling you, there's some serious business these next 2 weeks, man.
It is.
Your thoughts?
It really is, man. It's like some serious business. When you look at the way the Anderson County game was, like that felt like a playoff type atmosphere, felt like a playoff game. And it's going to be a little bit different now that you have Alcoa making that move to what, 4A now?
Yes, I mean that was the news of. I mean, and let me ask you this too, Bert. Remember when we did one of our first couple of shows, and we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary, which we're going to celebrate it big in December when we do that. But remember when we read that article about what Tom Krieger said of the Tennessee, and he said why Alcoa should move up to 4A. Were they bullied to make this move, or what do you think, Bud? I mean, because truth be told, I was just telling Shane, they've only played 6 games this year. They have a hard time filling in their schedule and so forth. Let me bring him back on too, since he's good to go. So I'm just saying that I just want like your thoughts on, were they bullied? Did they make this on their own? What do you think, brother?
I mean, I think it could be a little bit of it could be a little bit of both. I think it was a necessary decision that they needed to make in order to get their program where it needs to be. They have a standard with that program of being a dominant football, basketball type programs. They've been very successful, winning state titles. They've got a community that supports everything they do and every movement that comes up in Alcoa. And I think it can be said it's a little bit of both. It could be a little bit of bullying and the right decision of going up because of the scheduling. Like, how many games have they played this year?
They've only played 6 now. Shane's saying they have to make up the Union County game because that was messed up with the hurricane and the weather and so forth like that.
Yeah,
so they've got a game next week against
Monday.
Union County. But they have a hard time filling the other schedule games and so forth like that. Nobody wants to play them. And then the out-of-state teams, they won't return. I mean, that's far to go for New York. I think that team from New York that came down here that they beat, they travel to play teams. You know what I mean? And so forth. Some schools are just like that. And Alcoa that would be too far for them to go. But they couldn't even find a school in Kentucky or North Carolina that wanted any of them. That's the truth.
I think that comes down to just how dominant they've been over the years, and just they're pumping out some D1 kids left and right. So
yeah. I mean, I listen. The records are nice and everything like that, but how would you feel that you had a 10-0 record playing cupcakes and then you lose in that first round of the playoffs? I mean, you want to know that you guys are the best of the best, and iron sharpens iron. I've been saying that for a long time. And realistically, if West takes care of business this week and next week against Powell, 7-3 is nothing to scoff at, especially with who you've lost to, because Bearden is getting it rolling at this point. They're going to finish second behind Maryville. And realistically, I expect Bearden to whip Morristown West this Friday. And then Bearden has who next Friday night? Bradley Central, which I know they're going to really want to.
Yeah, when Bradley Central played a fall off after they've lost their 2 UT commits, a couple of other guys.
And all those fun guys they had. So
I think Bearden made the right move going back to Drew at quarterback. So they're rolling like they should, but now you got the guy who's been leading that team for years.
Yeah. And let him finish what he started.
They need to make a move at quarterback because they just weren't getting what they were supposed to at quarterback. They just weren't getting
especially like if we're talking about Beard, like you've got a guy who knows his receivers, knows what he's doing out there, and he's been working all year. I mean, he knows that offense, he knows what his receivers do. So it's all about that timing, and you can't bring somebody in late in the summer or I'm not sure when a kid got here, but try to build that chemistry with a guy who's literally been the chemist the whole time.
Yeah. But you can't develop chemistry because I noticed when we saw that first game, it just looked like all all the times that he was looking for an open receiver, or if they were open, he was running. Like you saw a quarterback just trying to be a dual threat quarterback, not just he was really just trying to make a play.
Yeah.
But see,
have,
Drew's a mobile quarterback. Also, we as his coach for years, we used his legs. You got his legs going early to get his arm going later, because you had to respect what he does on both sides. I think with the previous quarterback that they were using this year, he only looked to use his legs. So, the kid was out there putting in work. We saw what he was doing, but I didn't trust his arm, because those throws weren't. He's throwing from like the 20-yard line. He couldn't hit the back of the end zone.
No.
The accuracy on that quarterback was what we even talked about that and prep that game day episode where we were, had he was out there like that showed commitment. But when you start looking at some of these teams, I feel like Maryville is the dominant team.
Maryville also been doing the same. Those kids learn that playbook from day one. When Maryville started to tackle at 4 and 5 years old, and those kids play together the whole time. You occasionally get a kid to come in, kind of how they got Smith's kid.
Lee Smith's son. Yeah.
Yeah. Brody Smith. Yeah, like you bring in a couple pieces here and there if they come into the area or however you do it, but those kids know that playbook from day one when they learn football.
Yeah.
And they just get better and better. I mean, it's the same. My team's philosophy is the same as the high school's philosophy. And, it's you change a few things here and there or how you call something, but it's the same concept.
Yeah, and you see that's where West is at now. West, it first started with Cummings doing that, and with DeVere and everything, that those guys knew what they needed to do, and then now with Lamar Brown and his offense and defense is instilled. So those guys know what they need to do once they get there. It's just about weight room and executing. So that's it.
Just to even talk, I felt like last week maybe first time they played a complete ball game.
Oh yeah, no, let's talk about that, man. I mean, no, let me get that banner up. Hold on, that was a huge.
I wish I'd been able to see that game.
Yeah, no, definitely watch it on Rivalry Thursday because Two-Pair when he was on the field, I was up in the stands doing stats, and I mean it was just an unbelievable game. And Two-Pair, the atmosphere. Forget the fact that it was senior night. I felt like Anderson County brought their whole county for the game. Their side was filled up. There wasn't a parking space to go. I mean, you couldn't park nowhere. You had to park at the intramural fields to get there and so forth. So,
it was a playoff atmosphere. It was. I'm not gonna lie. Like, and shout out to Paul Romero and that video board and highlights of each play as it folded on the field. I really think, for one, that offensive line came to make the plays at the right time. That offensive line and the seniors played phenomenal. They played phenomenal. Parker Dubon, he makes one mistake the entire game.
Yeah.
It kind of could have been costly. It could have been costly.
It was a momentum changer. It was for sure. So.
It was a total momentum changer. And then to have the wherewithal to go back in there and make plays, because that may have been the play that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
If you look at the way we're playing the run game, Messiah Wren is a pure playmaker.
Oh my God, that run he had.
Corey Person made plays.
Yeah.
Patterson made plays.
Cam did too at tight end. Yep.
Burdine. What more to say about Burdine? And then that secondary. The secondary was very key on some big stops. Like I said, Riley Manning is how good is he in the secondary? Antoine Burdine.
Burdine made that big interception. Pork Chop being back there. Antarius McAllister. Pork Chop, they call him. So, yeah.
Fetty, I will say this. Fetty's angry runs set the tone for that game.
Yes.
His angry runs led to the big Messiah Wren is probably the guy you need to get the ball to a lot more in that situation of the inside zone that they're running or that zone read action that they're going with.
Mm-hmm.
When he's out in the open, it is daylight, it's green, it is pastures. One thing I will say, offensive line really met the players at the point of attack.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were some times where I felt like our defensive line was really setting the tone. That second half, Wyatt DeRoche, Cam Leggett, those guys,
Mm-hmm. That fourth quarter, they took over. It
they
was
took
about
over.
time.
Like Cam Leggett and that squad took over. But the offensive line, like Steven Johnson, like that offensive unit, they moved mountains on that offensive line. Deshaun Battle, they were
Mhm.
moving mountains on that offensive line.
And Tupper, isn't it funny that we were actually told by a parent that I mean, if they want us to call them out, they actually said that we're actually not even mean enough on this show. I thought we were kind of being really critical. They said they need to hear that. They needed a fire under them.
I wanna shout out the parent that told me that,
Yeah.
because I get it. Because the thing is, I was telling him is the kids that are playing for West, the kids that are playing for Carnes, the kids that are playing for Austin East, the kids that are playing for Alcoa. I went to school with your parents. So when we discuss the game and what we see, and Shane gives his perspective because he's speaking from a player, a coach, a father. When you're giving your perspective of a statistician, a historian, a guy that has covered the game, like writing and publishing, it's a difference because it's coming from a place of we know what we're saying. We have to be critical on these kids because they get better. Like when I told Jay Mills, I was like, Jay Mills, it's time for you to make a big play. Court
Mhm.
Person, it's time for you to make a big play. A1 Ancelot, it's time for you to make a play. You guys got to make plays. In order,
David Drada, I'm looking at you, brother. I'm
Yeah, I
looking at
mean,
you, man.
now you've got to start coming. Like,
to catch the end zone, he even said it. He said, I was thinking too much.
Hmm.
I had it, and he just got it at the last second. Because that touched it. You think about it, there's a couple of plays in that game, James.
Yep.
The drop Drada touchdown.
I mean, the thing I teach my receivers is you watch that ball into your hands. You don't think about anything else but that ball into your hands. However it's coming at you, you see the catch and you see yourself secure it. After that, do whatever you got to do. But you see that ball into your hands first. I don't care what else
See,
is going on around.
Yeah.
insecure. But no, we haven't been critical. We should be a little bit more critical.
Yeah.
Because like I felt like some of the seniors, I feel like some of the seniors, you guys are living off the past accomplishments to where I don't know if you love your Instagram, your YouTube, and showing off that you play for West, but do you play for West?
I like it.
Are you just there to wear the jersey and get the jacket, or are you out there to make it?
Are you flashing the ring? I mean, let's be real. So yeah.
It's like that's what the parents want us to do. They want us to be critical of their kids, but in a way of show some toughness and tell us why it didn't work.
Hmm.
Because I felt like the game plan that Coach Brown and the staff drew up put the guys in place to make plays.
Yes.
They
Hey,
did.
it's like I said last week.
Always.
Effort, attitude, toughness are the three things that a coach cannot provide on that field. That's on you. If you can't bring those three things to every game, don't even suit up.
That's right.
Yeah. And that was the difference in the game. I felt like mentally, that's a game where Parker throws that interception.
Hmm.
It's a pick six. It's at half. will you tell me the score of when that pick six occurred?
It was 17-7, and there was about 50 seconds left in the second quarter, and they were trying to pick up, maybe try to make a play. Detroit missed his block, and basically the DB jumped the route and was gone to the races. And so it was 17-14 with about 41 seconds when we got the ball back and took a knee going into halftime. So think about it like this: with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter, it was 17-0 West. West is in firm control. They get a penalty that extends AC's drive. AC throws a long bomb and gets a touchdown, and then we throw that pick six. So within a matter, two pair of maybe a minute, 20 seconds, it went from 17-0 to 17-14. And you were in firm control. Go ahead.
Firm control. And that's why I was saying a team had that happened. Like when we talked about the Alcoa game, from what we watched. When you watch the Alcoa game where they could not make third down conversions, everything we talked about, it seems like the county game, they changed that whole trajectory of that game because
they played 4 quarters finally.
They finally did.
They still let Anderson County get back in there, and they had to fight back again. But they competed all 4 quarters.
But that interception was really the changer for me. Because I said, depending on this interception, depending on Parker Dubon, it's senior night. Are you going to make the necessary adjustments to win this game? Mm-hmm. And they did.
They did.
They did. It was a masterclass for a second, like on how to win a big ball game at home.
Two things we touched on last week's episode. We talked about what have they done with the bye week, and they looked healthier. They looked well prepared. Like you said, two pair, there was a good coaching game plan that was done. They looked ready for this matchup. Okay. Yeah. Now, with the exception of the third quarter that I know they would love to forget, and that final 2 minutes of the second quarter, that was as complete of a ball game they've played all year. And what I'm hoping for is that the momentum carries on to not only the big game this week, but for the remaining weeks that are due. Because I said this, and we talked about it as on our post-game show, and we need to put that clip up on the website. And I'm working my butt off, guys. I apologize. So I feel bad. And I'm putting the wrong interviews up. I'm telling you, it's terrible. So shoot.
True. I said, that's Central's game.
That's 4 weeks ago, James. You're 4 weeks behind. That's what this hurricane's done. It's taken me 4 weeks out of here. So.
Got that built in the archive of Rebels with a cause. Like, think about it. I don't even know if we even put up the highlights from the Catholic scrimmage.
No.
Scrimmage.
We've got so much stuff that I've got so much stuff to archive, and I'll get to it because there'll be a lull here very shortly and so forth where I can do that, and we can maybe look back on a special season. And that's the other thing too. Parker interviews up there where he even mentioned that they had a players only meeting and they talked, Shane and Two Pair, about what we're talking about. Are you resting on the laurels of years past? And they were. They admitted that they were, and it showed. But now they want to make their story, and it is time for their story. And here's the thing: last year's team had some big wins. The Bearden game that maybe shouldn't have gone their way with the Hail Mary, the big win against Maryville on the road. But here's the thing: they got humbled when they played Alcoa. They almost lost to Anderson County. What was it? 8-7 was the final score. So the thing is that it took that Anderson County game and the Halls game last year to find their rhythm. And what I'm hoping is lightning can strike twice. That's
I'm hoping lightning can strike twice. Yeah. It's just the fact that I just, from what we saw, there are some seniors on that team that are bringing it every night.
Yeah.
Then there are some seniors on that team that you're part of the lineage of championship teams, but I don't know if we're saying your name enough when it comes to making big plays.
Fair.
So it's kind of like, are you playing for West or are you just playing for West? It's one of those things like, is this guy a dub guy or like we got to get to a point of what's going on with the journey, and all those guys know what it takes to win a title.
Yep.
They've been on championship teams, but it's like now they are the guys on the journey. They're the guys.
Yep. And they've got a journey on Friday night. I mean, one thing I do want to wrap up with Anderson County is the offense. Can you believe this? Held one of the best rushers in the state who had over 1,000 yards. We talked about them. They were all in on stopping the run, and they held that cat to under 20 yards for the game. Now, passing wise, you know, the quarterback did his thing, and he even showed off his legs. Okay, I mean, that's a player right there. They got a hell of a quarterback there. And that matchup with Gibbs this week between those two quarterbacks, that is some serious business. We'll predict that game later on because that's a championship. Yep.
Warren Agston.
I'm telling you, baby. So
he's got my vote for player of the year.
I like him. I mean, there's nobody that's more important to their team. There's nobody more. I mean, Anderson County has a lot of weapons. He is the weapon for Gibbs. You know what I mean? He is. So
because I'd be highly impressed to see what he's done this year. Like being the guy that's taking them by the reins, and they have been in every single game that we've talked about. Like. He's been the total difference maker. It's a really good team out there in Gibbs, and
there is.
We said it in the spring that he was going to be the guy we'd be talking about, and we are. It is October the 23rd. His name has probably been dropped in the last 5 to 6 episodes of Rebels with the Call.
Well, and you know, speaking of that matchup between Anderson County and Gibbs this week, Hensley, the Anderson County quarterback, is now up to 1,664 yards after the West game. And you mentioned Axton; he's got 905 yards passing. So, and as far as rushing the ball, he's up there as well, and so forth. So he's just an overall playmaker for Gibbs, you know, and realistically, he's even gotten some touchdowns on the ground as well. So I mean, just an overall key big time player and so forth. And Parker Dubon, he is actually right now at 723 yards passing. So he's very close himself to having 1,000-yard passing season and continuing that tradition for West quarterbacks of getting at least 1,000 yards passing. And Messiah Wren right now, he's got 559 yards as Wes's leading rusher by that running back by committee look. So I'm looking to see if with these next games they can start padding those stats and get going with what we were hoping for all year long, you know. So
I just really think you got to get the ball into the playmakers who you got to get the ball, and you got to take the advantage of core person's height. You have to.
Yeah.
You got to take advantage of the skill sets of your players. Like you got to take advantage of that because like Burdine is just making plays all over.
Abel made a touchdown hit. I'm telling you, I've been watching Abel Lancelot. That is my guy right there. Honestly.
Abel Lancelot, like the guys that you got to really get the ball in their hands, man. Like, Drada, you got to make that touchdown.
Oh man, yeah, Drada, man. I know you've been a little unhealthy this year, but buddy, it's getting to the nitty gritty, baby. We need you, Drada. So yeah, I mean. Just saying.
I feel like that's why I said I'm a little bit tougher on this senior class. Like I'm a little bit tougher on Mills, Drada. Like you guys are the playmakers.
Yep, for sure. Daggy, when he's in there, he needs to make plays. I mean, we said that we liked how many receivers there were, but the thing is when you all are all on, and I know that plays are designed for certain ones. I mean, you got to make your blocks. You got to make those catches when your numbers are called. I mean.
There's got there's got to be more ways to get Hankins, Daggy. You know what I'm saying? We have a ton of receivers.
We do. And you've got even guys like our buddy number 83 who made the big catch against Catholic. He's a sophomore, so you've even got guys behind them that are waiting for their number to
Silas
go.
Monroe.
Honestly.
You got guys like Silas Monroe who are on your bench. That's how deep the receiver room is.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find ways to take advantage of every person's height.
Yeah.
In his skill set. Like we gotta find more ways to do that. And I thought against Anderson County, that offensive line, man, like that offensive line and defensive line, like Wyatt DeRoche and Cam Leggett, they played. What more can you say? They were like Jack Tweed.
And that's what we've been waiting for, And here's the other thing too: they're going to have another big physical offense and defensive line they're facing this week against Halls, and you already know Powell. Powell's big. Powell's always been big on both sides of the ball, but you needed that. You needed that to show that you guys, can control the line of scrimmage. And look what happened there. This is the team we were expecting all year long. Now, coaches have said, we're right there on the cusp. Well, I think they are on the cusp. And if they do go over that, but here's the thing, Shane, you can say this as a coach. We want to be playing our best ball going into November because that's what
it's fourth quarter.
So now we've got to really turn it on, and better late than never. And here's the thing. We've already won one. We finished last year on an eight-game winning streak. Why can't we finish on another 8-game winning streak and collect number 3? That's all I'm saying. So, and it starts this week. We travel to the Devil's Den to face Halls. What's our thoughts on Halls? They've only lost 2 games this year. One of them was to Powell. And Shane, who was the other team they lost to? I want to say it was Gibbs. Gibbs, I think, beat Halls when they went head-to-head out of the way.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Gibbs beat Halls, if I'm not mistaken, because that Gibbs is undefeated right now. And, of course, they play Anderson County for the region title on Friday. So that's going to be a hell of a game. A lot of big games. A lot of region championships will be decided this week and next week.
Does Anderson County have enough to it? Do you think that they bottled up Dubon? Because I feel like Dubon made enough plays to beat Anderson County. Can Warren Axton do the same?
I think he can. But you know what? Gibbs' offensive line has got to give him time. That's the problem. I mean, here's the thing: if the offensive line had played the way they did against Maryville, we don't win that game. They stepped it up and gave Parker not only the time, but they also opened up some great holes and were not in the way of our playmakers like Messiah Wren when they opened that line and Messiah ran through there and scored that long touchdown, that was the longest run of the year, guys. Longest run of the year.
I'm looking at Hall's scores right now and their schedule. The teams that are good, they've lost it. They lost to Gibbs 22-28. They lost to Powell 7-32. The teams they beat, I don't like saying this about teams, but they're bottom feeders. You beat Campbell County 41-0. Fulton isn't what Fulton used to be. They won that in overtime 20-14. Hardin Valley, they're historically just haven't been a dominant team, 36-14. Carter, another historically team that's never really achieved a lot, 35-19. Heritage.
That was on Rivalry Thursday. Keep going.
Yeah. Heritage, 41-17. South Doyle, which we all know how South Doyle's been for a while, 68-34. So the teams
they allowed 34 points on them or what have you. Yikes.
You know you have backups in, like backups.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't see that game, but given that score and what I've seen with other teams going against South Doyle, you put your backups in basically after halftime, especially if you're at 68-34. But the teams that they beat are bottom feeders. So, I mean, West comes out and plays like they should, and you give us 4 quarters, you win 40+ points.
Beat him better than Powell did, honestly. And that was a weird game for the Powell Halls game, because at one point it was very close. It was on a Saturday. Remember, they had canceled some of the games or moved them to Saturday. West even kind of came out against Heritage weird. I mean, it's weird to get up on a Saturday afternoon and play
Yeah.
in dreary weather. I'm not trying to make excuses, but it was that whole week was a strange week for high school football.
Yeah. I mean, the Brigham Farragut game was on a Saturday, and like Farragut didn't even show up.
Yeah. Oh, and look at Farragut. After that game, Farragut looks really good right now. In fact, if Farragut takes care of business against Hardin Valley on Friday, they get into the playoffs. And that's quite an accomplishment for a team that started 0-5 and looked like they couldn't do nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Farragut could be one of those tricky teams in 6A in the playoffs. You don't know.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the other thing, too. And I do want to get to our talk about alignment, because more and more is going to come with this news of Alcoa. And of course, I want to talk about this West Halls game more in depth and so forth. My question to you two pair, more than anything, with the Halls, it's now a region game, beating the Beardens, beating the Farraguts, beating the Marivilles and the Alcoas and Anderson County. Those are nice on paper. But in reality, this game this Friday is more important than any of those combined from a standpoint. You go from possibly hosting a couple of games to not hosting at all if you don't take care of business this Friday in the Devil's Den, because Halls would be that team that would host a game and so forth, honestly. So
I'm gonna need you to be my correspondent for this game, because I got to be in Atlanta. One of our Rebels is turning 40. Jeremy Pegas, actually today.
Shout out to him, man. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Throw up the W for Jeremy Pegas. So there we go, man.
Show up the W for Jeremy.
Nice.
Yeah, he's turning 40 today. My mom's birthday's tomorrow. So,
happy birthday to her. So, yep.
Always, it's crazy that my best friend and my mom's birthday are a day apart. So,
And then, of course, my dad turned 82 last Thursday. The original Italian Stallion, 82 years old now. So, yeah.
I've known Jeremy since we were in first grade.
Wow.
So I'm gonna need you to be I'm gonna need you to be the guy that can, direct me while I'm road in Atlanta. I wanted to be at this game.
Yeah. Well, listen, hey, just do Diamond Clear Media if you want just a quick little peek or whatever like that. Diamond Clear Media should be covering it. I don't know if it'll be West doing the coverage or we have to depend on Halls, but that's what's going to be going on there and so forth. So yeah, and I will definitely do my best to text you. I don't know what I'll do. I could be stats again. I might be spotter, but I'm ready either way. I'm a rebel with a cause. Either way, I'll do whatever I can. So
you're the spotter or the statter, or
well, our stats guy got a little sick, unfortunately, and literally I went from spotter and then I took over as stats guy probably after the first drive, to be honest with you, and I did stats the rest of the game. I didn't know if my guy was going to be back in time, so I was prepared to do the stats anyway. I had a backup in my buddy Will Tercio. Shout out to him. He's a big fan of the show. He became the spotter, and so it was, we ourselves in the press box were trying to make everything work. Coach Gahn was working the scoreboard, and Steve was doing his thing, calling the game from the press box and so forth, announcing the names. So we had to kind of fluctuate, but it worked and we did a damn good job and so forth. So it was just, and then you had all the media up there too. You had Rivalry Thursday up there, you had the Sports Animal up there, and you had the Jack FM that do a great job, Andrew and Paige. So it was a loaded press box, brother. It was. But this week I'm on the road and I've got to brave the elements. So, but I will definitely make sure to keep you up to date. So
that press box was just actually a ton of people.
Yeah. Yeah, and then somebody got a picture of me, which I thought was so funny, and I shared the picture or whatever. Like, who took that? And I'm so intense doing the stats or whatever. So yeah, but anyway,
found them.
Yeah.
I know there's been a couple of times back in my press box days that when all the media crews were there, They weren't liking the language. I was kind of in my mouth.
Oh yeah, no, I've been warned a time or two that keep the microphone off because you can hear James, and that's a penalty or whatever like that
Yeah.
if it gets over the loudspeaker. So yeah,
But mine was more. It was making it onto like Rivalry Thursday or onto Diamond Clear.
shoot.
I've gotten yelled at for turning on the strobe lights, and a parent, I think it was from Jeff County, was suffers from epilepsy.
Oh shoot.
So I was like, hey,
Oh.
Knox County needs to put out signs like there are strobe lights. You need to, if you have seizures, do not come to the game.
Yikes. Yikes.
But I really think that was the best atmosphere.
Oh, so good.
Like and then you had all of the classes meeting up at the game with the tailgate before the game. I thought that was really cool too. Like class of 95, class of 97.
Mm-hmm.
4 was in the house. I think there was a couple class like 2010. There was a bunch of classes, celebrating that win, and it was people years.
Yeah, and they had to move that from, unfortunately, that was supposed to be the homecoming heritage, but with the storm, that got moved to this game. And let me tell you something, they got their bang for their buck. It was a hell of a damn game. It really was.
Great.
And realistically, here's the truth of it. We're going to go, we'll come back to the West Halls game, but I want to talk because this is major news in terms of Alcoa going to 4A. And the thing is what I do want to talk about is that does Anderson County and Greenville stay in 4A and challenge them, or do they move up? Because here's the truth of it. You've got to make your decision. And I don't even know when the deadline is, but it's got to be soon because they're going to release in mid-November, which is just a month away, maybe even less than that, 3 weeks, the new regions. And here's the thing. You're locked in for 3 years. It's not 2 years like it used to. It's 3 years. So my question is, if Anderson County and Greenville do move up, my thing is that what are the regions going to look like? I mean, obviously, it would make more sense for Greenville to join Region 1 with the Morristown Wests and Sevier County. And, Anderson County probably takes Oak Ridge's spot, right, Shane? Since Oak Ridge is going to be a 6A school, playing the Campbell Counties and the Clintons, it would make sense to keep those rivalries up to date, I guess, at this point. So,
yeah. I'm trying to pull everything up right now.
Yeah. I mean, no, this is it's going to be very interesting, and I know that it's not even going to be a dull moment this next month because two-pair, you got basketball, you got the playoffs, you got I mean, there's going to be a lot going on in high school, in the month of November, man. Honestly, it's going to be a very exciting November, no matter what.
It will be a very exciting November. I think that. The basketball team adding Tyrone Patterson as their assistant coach.
So that happened. Okay, gotcha. So
former player.
Wow.
Okay. A guy who was a stretch.
I just pulled this up. Alcoa's enrollment is still lower than most 3A schools.
That's incredible. That's what I'm talking about right there. I mean, they really might even be almost a 2A school, to be honest with you, and they're going to be playing.
Their enrollment is 677 students.
Yep.
Let's see if I can find it.
And 100 of them play football. So,
yeah.
And 100.
Okay, here we go. Austin East, 3A school. There is only 15 student difference.
Wow.
The highest 3A school I'm seeing on here is 743.
Wow. And they're 677, you said. So, gotcha.
Yep.
And now they're going to be playing 4A. And what's the cutoff for 4A, by the way?
4A. The lowest one I'm seeing is Pearl Cone High School at 524 students.
Really?
Wow. But the 3 that reclassified, which are Pearl, Alcoa, and Kirby, 524, 677, and 698. Loud High School is the first one that falls in. It's not reclassified, 744. So that's 743, 744 mark is where it changes from 3A to 4A.
Yeah, well, and you see that's the thing. Loudoun's going to stay in 3A now. They're jumping up and down over there in Loudoun County. Gatlinburg Pittman is going to have a parade early with this news. Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, their seasons ended when they played Alcoa. Didn't matter what the hell they did when they didn't play.
And somewhere between your 4A and 5A is between 1042 and 1060.
Yeah. And you see, that's the thing. What's Anderson County's number at, and what's Greenville's number at? That's who I'm looking at to see would they make the move to 5A at this point. Honestly,
Anderson County, where are they at?
And I'm going to tell you this, Two-Pair and Shane. You know this because of the area we live in. They're just building and building and building. And here's the thing: South Doyle, man, they're building like a brand new, like 300, house neighborhood there off of Governor John Sevier, and that would be zoned for South Doyle. South Doyle may have no choice but to go up to 5A here in the next couple of years. I'm not saying all 300 homes are going to have kids, but at the same time,
Anderson County, 1022.
1022. Okay.
5A starts, where I say 1060.
1060. They're going to move up. I guarantee you they will move up to 5A. So, yeah, with this news. What about Greenville?
Greenville's what district are they?
They're 4. They're class 4A. They're region 1 though.
Let's see, Greenville.
I guarantee Anderson County will take Oak Ridge's spot next year in 5A. I guarantee it. If they stay, props, but I just foresee them moving up. And then that West Anderson County game is going to be a permanent game on the schedule.
Why am I not seeing Greenville? There it is, Greenville, 933.
So they're a little bit lower. They may stay at 4A, but I think that they're good enough, Greenville is, to compete with the I got a team for you. Betsy, Elizabethton. How many is their enrollment, by the way? I can see Elizabethton moving up to 5A.
What region? 4A?
They would be 4A, Region 1. Known as Elizabethton, I call them Betsy. So Betsy.
Elizabethton, 886.
Oh, so they're even lower. Okay, so they may have no choice but to stay. But I what I'm getting at is there's going to be some conversations made because the Elizabethtons have been state champs, the Greenvilles have been state champs, the Anderson counties have been state champs. That's not going to happen with Alcoa now in 4A. I just think that they're already playing 6A and 5A teams and beating them. So this will be better schedule-wise for them because now they're going to get the Fultons. Their travel is going to be a lot better. And they're probably going to keep Weston Maryville on the schedule and Bearden, so they're going to fill a full 10-game slate next year. So, but yeah, that's going to be interesting, honestly. And Fulton and Alcoa, they haven't played in a long time. It's been a minute since those two teams.
What gets?
When's the last?
Ooh.
I think they played 2017 or something, or 16 maybe.
Literally 15 students away from 6A.
West is? Yeah. West is getting there.
West is sitting at 1,471 students. The lowest 6A school is Whitehaven at 1,486.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing too. West at this point, we're already playing 6A schools. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to going up or whatever. I wouldn't. I mean, we're not afraid of anybody. We're not, and so forth. And the thing is that if they stay in 5A, it's going to be still difficult. There's still Powell there, and I think that Anderson County is going to make that move up there. And Oak Ridge, they're going to 6A, and I think they're going to be completely outclassed, especially if the rumors are true that they might be moving on from Derek Rang after this year. So,
they can't keep a coach there to build a program. They want the alumni and the boosters want it ran a certain way. And if you don't do it the way they want it done, you're gone. Reason Cummings left.
I'm just going to say this. Former coaches need to stay former coaches. No disrespect. When your time is done, you need to walk away. Otherwise, then you weren't done yet. And that's what a current administrator over there is doing. And he's hurting the program more than helping it. I guess
Yeah.
he just can't let it go that he failed 4 years ago in that state championship game. They did choke their ass off, and they shouldn't have even been there because we got screwed on a referee call. West should have been in that 2020 state championship game. Nobody
Yeah.
can tell me different. We didn't win that quarterfinal. So, but karma. That's all I say. Karma about that.
It's just crazy what the 6A enrollment numbers like. Colorville High School has almost 3,000 students.
Yeah, like what is that? Like, I mean, are you kidding me? 3,000 kids?
You've got Colorville at 2,989 students.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go down to the bottom of 6A, 1,486. You're talking about 2,500 different. That's a huge number compared to like. There's like you could almost make a 7A, and I would cut it at about 2,150.
Yeah. You might, you almost could. I mean, here's the other thing too. Think about Nashville.
8 teams, but
There's some Nashville schools that are already moving up because it's so big, Metro and everything.
Dobbins Bennett.
Yeah.
2,300 students.
Yeah, Bearden, let me tell you this, when that apartment complex that they're building behind Sam's and Walmart over there gets finally finished, that's going to be more kids going to Bearden High School.
Yeah.
There's another neighborhood that they're already developing off of Westland Drive that's technically right now zoned for Bearden. That's going to be more kids right there too. I mean, the explosion is unbelievable. That's why it's so hard for me to believe that Hardin Valley can't compete with the amount of kids that go to that school, honestly.
Hardin Valley has more students than Bearden. Hardin Valley is at 1,996 students. So the way this ranking is 1 is their lowest, 300 your highest.
Wow.
Bearden is number 284 of going. So they're 16 schools from being the top school.
Mm-hmm.
Hardin Valley is number 15.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot of kids. And Hardin Valley was built to alleviate a lot of the overcrowdedness of Carnes and Farragut. And look at it now. It's just unbelievable.
I mean, I still think that they got to pick their school zone.
Yeah.
The way it was, I know some kids that literally they live a mile from Bearden.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go all the way down Middlebrook to go to Hardin Valley. So you're a mile from Bearden. You pass Carnes to go to Hardin Valley.
Is it because of the academic thing? Like, because they do offer some programs. I don't know.
The zone is. Like, it comes all the way down Middlebrook, right there where the Weigels is.
Oh, the big,
right there,
okay.
Right there at, what's that road? Walker Springs.
Gallagher and
Middlebrook. Yeah. Like, it comes all the way down over there. And then, of course, you got my side of town over here at Carnes, but, like, a lot of those kids should either be Bearden or Carnes kids. They go to Hardin Valley.
That's crazy. That's nuts. So yeah.
What's Farragut sitting at? I'm curious where they're at. What's their number?
Shout out to this. In order to beat championship caliber teams, our passing game got to get better. You bet.
Oh,
and the receivers can't drop balls. So
you can't turn over the ball. You can't turn over the ball before halftime.
No.
Because it gets to a certain point where and that's what I was saying with Dubon is like, how is this going to affect his game going forward after that? So that's why I said when he made that interception, you change the complexity of that game now.
Mm-hmm.
Because we should have been controlling the ball, more ground, shot at the wrong play. Where a game like that, Harrison needs to come in just to cool some things down to where, hey, like, this is where being that senior leader, you gotta make the right plays at that time. Like, because there's sometimes where I feel like he presses the issue and then sometimes he plays an intelligent ball game.
Well, and he recovered in the second half. I'll give him this. He made some runs that were incredible. Picked up a first down, took a hit out of bounds that was such a cheap shot late. I mean, he was literally out of bounds and got hit and got back up. And, thank you for the 15 yards, Anderson County. And again, if you read Coach T, if you want some laughing material, go on Coach T. Anderson County's fans think flat out that the refs helped West. And I'm like, not necessarily, man. You guys played some undisciplined football. You did, okay? They're going to call late hits out of bounds. I'm sorry, or they're going to call holding calls.
Noticeable. That was
Yes.
Like Parker with his legs, he just made plays.
Yeah.
But it's like that type of play, like what Steve was saying about quarterback play, that's essential.
Yep.
You gotta have that for a championship squad, because that offensive line is probably doing the best that they can.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times we were hard on that offensive line, and that senior group has just turned everything we said bad into everything that is now good about this team.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully said, if you put that comment,
I'll do it. Yeah, let me do it right here.
In order to beat championship caliber team, our passing game got to get better.
Yeah. And that goes to the receivers too. They cannot drop balls. I'm sorry. They cannot. If you get a hand on it, like I'm going to call out Detroit Patterson on this one, man, flat out. Parker had probably his best throw of the night, rolled out, and Detroit is trying to catch it with one hand. And you got to get two hands on that baby, because if he gets two hands on that and turns upfield, he's running to the intramural fields, two pair. He is. And here's the thing. Shouldn't that how you want to get them touchdowns easy? Yeah, I get it. Grind it out. But that is more susceptible to getting hurt. Players, an extra play that shouldn't be necessary. I've seen so many guys hurt themselves in a game where if you had scored on the play before, you're not out there to get hurt. I know it's a game of inches. It's so much involved in moving parts. But damn, where's that, score? I mean, I get the methodical. You wore them down. And let me just tell you this. Conditioning was the key in that fourth quarter. Anderson County showed they were tired, hands on hips. And I'm going to tell you this. You mentioned DeRoche, Jack Keith, Leggett, my boy Davis Neely, number 45. I mean, that sack that they knocked him, I mean, let me tell you, him and DeRoche came and converged. 45 and 46 became, I mean, they made him a sandwich. I mean, he was done on the ground. And my point is that it's like in that fourth quarter, they wanted more. And I was like, that's the team that needs to fight for 4 quarters these next 7 weeks, starting Friday in the Devil's Den.
And that's why I think, like, the leaders like Leggett and Johnson, they are just bringing it, man. Like that group. Mm-hmm. That group is bringing it. Like
and I called out Codavilla last week. I called him out. He had a good game on that right side, I mean, but it's like you guys need to put it together, because this was your year. The offensive line was a strength. How many times have we gone into a season for West football and it's like, well, you got 3 starters to replace. They don't have the chemistry. And you had it. You only had one guy who was a great guy. I loved that kid, honestly. But, whoever it was, whether it was Ernst or Mabaney, whoever could step into that guard spot to go with Johnson, Battle, Codavilla, and Brody. I mean, this is your time to maul people. And I'm going to tell you this. Get it done this week. But next week, you're going up against the best defensive line, in my opinion, with Powell, because they got 3 guys on the stats list with 6 or more sacks, and we don't have none. So you're going up against, in my opinion, the best defensive line next week. Got to get through Halls this week, 1 game at a time. But I'm looking at that Powell game, because it's going to come down to that, whether you're hosting for 3 games potentially, or you only get to host 1 and you got to do it the hard way with 3 road games.
Yeah, it's like these next 2 games are going to define some things. And that's why I said, like, we cannot afford to have turnovers like that ever again in the second quarter, right before halftime, from our senior quarterback. Like,
Are you surprised at the play call too, pair two? Why didn't they throw it downfield? Because if it gets intercepted, you at least have 11 guys that can potentially tackle him. You don't have nobody when you throw it or horizontally. He was
yeah,
walking in the end zone. I mean,
like,
shoot.
I wondered why. I don't question play calling.
Yeah.
I don't. Not with those guys. Like, I don't. But if I did have a question, is what was the read? Because if the read was a screen and the corners, if they're giving inside leverage to play underneath, why would you make that read? Like, why would you make the throw? Because
the way I looked at it, Patterson was supposed to make the block and Burdine was supposed to catch it. And I think it was almost like a pick call, and I don't even know if they even call like a pass let me tell you something, I've seen that called more in college football right now. That's a whole different story. But I'm just saying, would they have called an offensive pass interference, Shane? Would that pick play if it's just a legitimate block? There's something about the shoulders, how it is and everything. But I think the play design too, pair, to answer your question, was if Patterson makes the block and Burdine, who is your playmaker, gets the ball, it's one-on-one, and there's no safety out there because the safety was more loaded on this side or whatever. There was no really safety help over there. The safety was more lined up on the other side and so forth, or closer to the middle of the field. So it was almost like Burdine shakes him, he's still running. So, but was the throw there? Was the block made? But I'll tell you this, 17, or it was either 17 or 19 for them, made a hell of a break on the ball. And then they couldn't even catch him. I mean, he turned on some burners. Like, I thought it was turbo on NCAA 2025 or what have you, honestly. So, shoot.
Gone.
He was
like,
gone.
Shane,
you have to see the play. You have to watch on Rivalry Thursday.
Is the play in the chat?
It might be. Well, you know what? If you got it, then if you definitely got it, I've got it uploaded. I'll look at all the plays or whatever. But if you want a quick fix, go to rivalrythursday.com. Just forward it real quick, and you'll see because it was from that angle that it was showing it and so forth right there. So
it took the air out of the stadium.
Oh my God, it was.
How far into the game was it?
It was 50 seconds left in the second quarter, right before halftime. I mean, we were trying to score, I guess, again, and it's been successful in the past. I mean, you could have taken a knee, but it's been successful in the past where we tried to get one before halftime, considering they were going to get the ball to start the second half. So,
but what I would have thought, what I was thinking is, why not push the ball downfield, but use the running game, or if you're going to be in that mode to where you can. I want to say we had 2 timeouts left.
We did, and you want to know? You read my mind, by the way, without even realizing it. Pair. I was about to just make the comment. They still had all 3 timeouts. Anderson County did. They did. So I guess they were content with going in 17-7, getting that touchdown. But then it worked out even better for them that they went in 17-14. They didn't call timeouts till the fourth quarter. They didn't call any timeouts.
Is this after the kick return with 47.3 left in the second half?
Yes.
Okay, I'm watching it right now.
Well, actually, you know what? No, go before that. Go before the kickoff return at 47.3. Go before that, maybe. Go before that. So, but Pair, you bring up a hell of a point, man. No, I mean, and you're right. You're absolutely right. And that's my other thing too. If you're going to take a shot downfield, throw it down there, and if it gets intercepted, at least you got 11 guys that can maybe make the tackle, or maybe the guy catches it falling down and he's down anyway or whatever. But you cannot give up a pick six like that. My God. And then the 20s. I mean, you scored. I'm trying to think. Okay, so here's something interesting. West blocked one of their extra points in the third quarter, which was ginormous. I mean, again, Davis, Neely, DeRoche, they did their thing. And that's why it was so important when we interviewed Pete Rogers. Pete made all his extra points. He made all the he made that important field goal. I mean, that was huge to do that, honestly.
But the touchdown run by Wren was the backbreaker.
It was amazing. Yeah. And then I don't know if Burdine's interception was before that, by the way.
The Burdine interception.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, the way he read that in the
secondary. He flew to get it. Like he jumped up and got it.
That was the play we needed. Remember, I'm in the chat and I'm sending the plays as they are on the field. To see that Wren run at field level was a house call.
It was.
And like, I'm not going to lie. He is one of the best big time playmakers. Like, I want to say, is he a junior or is
he is a junior? He is a junior, so he'll be back. I mean, and like I said, you lose Tavion and Keelan and Porkchop, but you got some guys in that backfield like Jalen Jack and 38. His name escapes me, and I love him to death too. Oh shoot, I can't think of his name. And then you also have that freshman kid, Bewley's 36. Who is 38? Goins, Jamari Goins. Yeah. So Goins and Jack with Messiah Wren next year. And then they've got a really promising young freshman kid who I believe is either 49 or 47. He's good too. So
Goins is going to be a problem.
He is.
I like Goins.
And Jack too. Jack may be smaller than Wren, but his vision of how he hits the hole is unbelievable. He plays like he's like 6'2", not 5'7". So yeah.
As these back-breaking runs, it just
and they've been close all year to they were very close to breaking it and either get tripped up or take a bad angle or something. But that was the first long run since the Catholic scrimmage that scored a touchdown. By the way,
So hold on, his run against Clinton wasn't that long?
It was long. It was like about 35 yards, but it wasn't a touchdown. Like if you're talking a house call, we had many more last year and the year before, obviously with Braden Latham, who was an incredible player, Marshawn. And I'm not taking anything away from our guys this year, but I thought after we saw them against Gibbs and Jeff County and, they were making long runs, I thought more of that was going to happen. And it really hasn't happened. Yes, you've had some end arounds with Burdine and Abel and stuff like that. Those are receivers. I'm talking running back, taking the handoff, busting through the offensive line, and nobody's within a whisker of his ass, honestly. Simple as that. That's what I'm getting at. That's what's been missing, that big play, back-breaking thing. And you called that. That was a backbreaker. So,
that was a
Now, Shane, have you seen the play? Did you see it, by the way?
I saw roughing the passer and I saw the touchdown where there's 56 seconds left. Maryville's kicking a field goal right now to make it 17-7.
Anderson County is, okay, gotcha. So, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, so, like I said, listen, the fact is, to go in that fourth quarter, get the interception, the run, the back-breaking thing, the draw to touchdown drop, man, shoot, if you would have gotten that, that would have been amazing. That would have just let the air right out of them, to be honest.
So what was the penalty I'm looking for?
Oh, it's not a penalty. It's more of an interception return.
Oh, so this be on our drive.
Yeah, it's on Wes's drive. Yeah, where he throws it to the side and it gets picked off in return for 6.
All right, so here we go. Here's the kick return. We get to the 42.
Yeah, it was probably around the 50-yard line. I think they handed it off to Tavion, and then it was like second down with the time 40-something seconds, and then that's when it happens.
Oh, I just jumped over it. Okay. Here's the run. Stopped at the 45.
Yeah, because it was at midfield. I remember it was at
38,
midfield.
37, 36. So here we go. It should be the next play.
I mean, just watch it.
Far forward.
Yeah, just watch it.
All right, here we go.
Notice the whole play.
Just the alignment, everything.
Now we're sitting with about 30-something seconds to go. Defense walking back out. They got single high safety. Oh, he read that the whole time. He read that. You don't make that throw.
He read it the whole. He jumped the route.
He jumped it. It was clear as day.
So Detroit didn't miss the block then, or something like that.
I'm
He just didn't have time to block.
I'm gonna watch it again.
I just didn't. I thought Detroit missed the block.
So what should he have done to avoid that? Because now, I think that play sticks out. Not as much as the win, though. Like the win is, I don't see teams come back from back-breaking plays.
Two pair, you're looking at it like this. What if the final score was 27-17, not 30-27? Then that's the game right there. I mean, you had the momentum and a 17-0 lead.
You're doing that bubble screen route right there. You're in trips. Oh, he whiffed on that block. He whiffed it. So what happened on that one is he's playing on his outside, or the receiver's trying to jam him on the outside and make that block. You can't do that. You got to come across his face and take him out, or you have your inside receiver come in and take that corner right there to push him away from the play to clear up your middle receiver right there in that trips formation. That way he drives him out. Your outside receiver needs to go ahead and take a vertical on that route so we're lined up. We got 3 receiver in trips. The corner's deep. Outside receiver jumps. So, my bad. So the way the middle receiver jumped it coming in on it, I don't know what he was thinking. I'm jumping too far. Come on.
No, you're fine. I mean, but you're saying I saw it from the press box. He missed the block.
So instead of being across his face, which I would ran that with the middle, or ran it with the slot, not the slot, but I guess he is the slot. I would ran with the slot and had the my inside receiver come in across right there, block him. My outside receiver take the go. And had the middle do the screen because it didn't freeze it up a little bit better, and you don't have to worry about your misalignment. And if you want to run that play again later, is you sell that you sell it like you're going to do the block on that safety that came down, but you're going to the linebacker playing the other one. Is you have him simulate he's going to block, then release on a go with your other corner running a post to free up that corner to buy in. The safety's going to get blocked, or he's going to bite on that block to read the screen, and you clear out upfield. That's the only way you can do that. You have to block him from the inside out and take him to the sideline. You can't have your outside guy try to come in there and jam him right there. It's not going to work the way that was drawn up, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then the kid makes a catch, and then he runs for the races. I mean, I thought he'd get
They
tripped up.
knew it was coming, so props to them on knowing exactly what they were about to do right there. But you got to kind of switch that up just a little bit. I would have my second receiver. I would have him do the screen, have my outside receiver take the go, and my slot receiver on the inside come and make that block. That at least gives you that time to get that quick release and take him out, and then you set up on a burst play later.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you have it, two pair. There you have it. And we were lucky we got. I don't want to say lucky. They fought back. I mean, but what a game of runs. 17-0. Then they scored 27 unanswered. Then we scored 13 unanswered in that fourth quarter. I mean, what a hell of a game, honestly, by two good teams. I mean, honestly. So, yeah.
Very good game.
Yep. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Switching things just a tad. I mean, we'll go back to high school. I want to get into a little bit of a college football discussion because, man, what a great win for the Vols over Alabama. Two pair, before you came on the show, I did just make a mention that props to Josh Heupel. He's beaten Florida and Alabama 2 out of the last 3 years, and it's been a long time since Tennessee football has done that, by the way. I mean, even during the former glory years, you beat one or the other. You know, you never really beat them twice except for 98. So, yeah.
So, I want to say, Phil, in that time, Tennessee was 1-27. Heupel is 2-2.
Yep.
Or two out of 3. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. And here's the other thing too. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, you are playing with fire. 3 games in a row with 0 points going into halftime, one of which was on the road, and 2 of them were against your fiercest rivals at home.
and still win.
And you found a way to win. If you played the second half like you did the first half, I mean, it wouldn't have even been close, you know? I mean, my goodness.
Had trouble putting together 2 great halves of football.
Yeah.
Second half is where, like, Dylan Sampson doesn't fumble. Like, he was really trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's very rare. The turnovers, and then it was just like they got calm and they made plays.
What about the missed field goals in that first half, man? I mean, damn, like you just even make one of those, that's a momentum helper, you know? I mean, I think that them fumbling, unfortunately, on their first drives that were both very good drives against Florida and Alabama, respectively, set the tones for that first half. I think if you get some points there, you calm down, you're good. You know, the crowd's into it. But listen, a win's a win. The hell with them. And I cannot still believe that they would put a 2-loss Alabama team, if they even run the table. I still see some losses on their schedule, just to let you know. But that being said, how the hell could you put a 2-loss Alabama team over a 2-loss Tennessee team when Tennessee won the head-to-head, man? That's what Jerry Palm was saying on CBS. This is where I'm getting this from, by the way. That Tennessee almost has to beat Georgia to ensure that they get to the playoff because of what's weak left on the schedule. That's what they're saying.
The Kentucky game scares me a little bit, but the way
At least it's here. At least it's here.
Yeah, and I'm curious which Georgia team we get.
Yeah. Can I say this? Starkville concerns me because that's such a Jekyll and Hyde team. They look like crap against Florida, but then they put up 35 on Georgia. You know, they also I mean, they might be playing for their coach's job. I don't know. I mean, I just hope we're more prepared going to Starkville than we were Fayetteville. That's all I'm going to say.
And Vanderbilt's sneaky good.
They ain't trash. They could easily be undefeated. In fact, they should be undefeated. I don't know what the hell they were doing against Georgia. Was it Southern or State? I keep messing that up. I think it was Georgia State they lost to.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Missouri game that they really had the lead and then lost in overtime. And Missouri's even showing they're not really that good of a team, especially with that quarterback getting hurt. It's a shame Auburn couldn't get that win for them or whatever, but they blew that one. I mean, Auburn, I just can't believe how bad that program is right now. I just really cannot.
I just saw an Alabama shirt on Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it now.
Uh-huh.
You know, Jalen Milrose thing is Lank. Let a no. Now it stands for lost at Nashville and Knoxville.
Ooh, those are some fighting words right there. So shoot.
I can't get a shirt that has that color in that on it.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I want to give a shout out to Chris Smith, by the way, because he was the one that predicted Georgia to beat Texas. He said that until somebody proves me otherwise, Georgia's still the class, and Georgia whips them out.
Texas did not want any of Georgia.
No. And you know what? Let's talk about a game earlier that happened in the day. It got a coach fired the next day with Oklahoma getting punked at home by South Carolina. I mean, I mean, I made that joke on your Facebook. I said, I think homeschool wants to go back to the Big 12. They don't want none of this, man. They bit off more than they could chew. And Bob Stoops and Sam Bradford ain't walking through that door anytime soon, man. Honestly, they don't want none of this.
That was real. Like that Oklahoma. You got a real culture shock with South Carolina.
Yep.
Like you lost to Tennessee. Tennessee's the better team.
Yeah.
You ran up against Sellers and that group. Took an L like that.
I just want to say this: Dylan Stewart became Alex Brown out there in one game. He was making so many sacks, honestly. So yeah. I mean, here's the other thing too. Realistically, Texas's wins don't look all that great. Oklahoma's not good. Michigan sucks. Michigan may not even make a bowl game. I mean, when have you ever seen the defending national champion not even make a bowl game, man? Not even make a bowl game. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Makes me wonder if the local commit changes where he goes now.
He should.
So.
You never know. You never know. I mean, all I'm saying is I think Texas is better built for the SEC than Oklahoma is, clearly, because Sark had experience learning from Saban in Alabama. But at the same time, all that money they've spent on NIL for offensive linemen, Georgia's defensive linemen were eating their lunch, man.
What, Shane, who did you say changed their commit?
Or Mike.
I'm curious if the Alcoa player changes his commit because of how Michigan is doing.
Yeah, talking about Eli. Yeah.
Yeah. Owens. I'm curious because he committed after he won the national championship, and you want to go play. I mean, going up there, you'll make it to the league, but does the offense change where he's not used as much now? Does something change up there? How's that going? I mean, they just made the coaching change, so
yeah, it's true.
Oh, they fired Moore?
What was that?
Who? So hold on. What? Sharon Moore is not fired, is he?
No, I'm just curious what happens up there. You know, a team, you commit to a team because they're competing for a national championship, and now you're wondering if they're going to be bowl eligible. Do you stay or do you go somewhere else?
My bad. I got Sharon Moore fired on accident.
Well, here's the other thing too, though. I mean, Two-Pair, like, that'd be pretty rough if that happened to him, because for God's sakes, he did coach those games that, yes, it was with those special players they had, but, they lost a lot, and they got to give him some time because, he inherited a mess. Everybody jumped ship. There were some maybe even penalties from the NCAA that were at play. I hope they give that man a little bit of time there because he's really put shit together, but at the same time, I'd laugh my ass off if they beat Ohio State for the fifth straight year or something. Day would be Day wouldn't even be able to leave Columbus Stadium. They'd kill him, honestly, or whatever. So.
They fired John Cooper for less. They'll fire.
Yeah, and John Cooper actually had really nice big wins in bowl games. I mean, he couldn't beat Michigan, but damn, they beat everybody else.
Wasn't he the one from Tennessee?
That was the Citrus Bowl when Tennessee won in '95 over Eddie George in Ohio State.
Eddie George, Bobby Hoying, Terry Glenn group.
Yeah, I dated his niece way back in the day.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was my first of two Tamaras that I was with.
Well, hey, Tupper, let me ask you this, man. It was an exciting day of football. You had that triple header. Miami, Louisville started it off with that track meet.
That was a crazy track meet.
Yeah.
Play defense.
Oh, no, not in the ACC. They'll put up. You know what? ACC is slowly becoming the new Big 12, where they put up points on offense and nobody plays defense or what have you. But I'm gonna tell you this, man. Shoot, Cam Ward though, love Miami or hate Miami, dude. That guy. I mean, I'll tell you this: the Titans. You want to take him with that pick? We need a quarterback. Get him, please. So please get Cam Ward.
Can we make some sort of trade to get Hendon Hooker to Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean something. I mean, the Will Levitt thing is over. This is just. I mean, they're so bad. They stink. I mean,
how about DeAndre Hopkins getting
trade to the Chiefs?
Yeah, let's make them better. Just hand them the Super Bowl trophy. I mean, they are. What are we doing here?
DeAndre Hopkins.
The Titans are becoming the Florida Marlins, where they're helping the Yankees and the Red Sox with great players they've developed or have.
They get a fourth round compensation pick or something like that.
Oh man, we can get somebody great with that fourth round. There's somebody there on. I don't know. Maybe Baylor that we can put on that defensive line or something like that. So, Jesus, goodness gracious, Titans, what are you doing? Just a sorry organization. And And they're going to get this great, beautiful stadium. The only great thing that's going to be in that stadium at this rate is WrestleMania that Triple H promised if it got built. So there we go.
When it hosts the Super Bowl.
Yeah, or Super Bowl or whatever, because Nashville's fun, man, you know, and they hosted that draft a couple of years ago. I mean, I'm just saying, what the hell is going on there? Made the Chiefs better. What the? Hey, here, wait a minute. I still have that banner. The Titans, loser of the week of the season.
Dang.
They stink.
Dang.
At this point, you're playing for a top draft pick.
Oh, and that's what I'm saying.
I mean, are you taking James Pierce? But you need offense, so.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, well, you know what? Here's the other thing too. They might. Well, if they do get the top pick, would Shador do like the Eli and say no, and I want the Falcons, or no, the Falcons wouldn't take him, I guess, because they got Penix, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I'm trying to think, where would Shador want to go? The Giants or
places?
I mean, Dion's already said that there's only certain teams he wants his son drafted.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So would he do that? And, you know, like maybe they would just do the formality and take the hat, and then the team that he's really going to go to drafts who, you know, gets.
I feel if they do, he's going to really navigate wherever his son goes to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of, you know, his relationships with a lot of teams in the NFL and his relationships with, you know, some of the owners, you know what I mean? Where they're already making those backroom deals as we speak. Like, if he comes out, he's going in.
Yeah. Colorado could have 2 of the top 5 players in the NFL draft, you know, and that would be like their claim to fame, you know, in terms of Shador and Travis getting picked, right? Just like that.
Great for your pro potential when you're recruiting.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Hey, we got 2 guys right here that were in the top 5 of a draft class.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I want to move on to college football week 9. The big game this week is going to be LSU and Texas A&M, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the game. Are you all surprised how good A&M is? You know, they had the hiccup against Notre Dame. Should have won that game, to be fair, but that's beside the point. But what Elko has done with the players that were left over from Jimbo, what's your thoughts on that, guys? Honestly, I mean, they're doing pretty well. He can coach. I've always said he can coach. So, yeah.
It's really the thing that they're top in the SEC right now.
Yeah.
Elko really coach. It was just, you know, Jimbo Fisher is, I think Jimbo Fisher still riding out the national championship in 2013.
And Jameis and all them fun guys that Florida State had. That was a talented group. Damn talented.
But after that, it's like, you know,
yep.
What was after Jameis?
Who was the big running back they had for a while there that played for? What was his name?
Dalvin Cook.
Cook. Yep, Dalvin Cook. And then after Dalvin, it really went downhill. So yeah. Yeah, yeah.
It's like, you know, after Dalvin Cook, it just feels, and that's why it's like you start to notice that with you really like you start seeing it where you're playing at such a high caliber level, and at any given time you cannot be playing at a high caliber level.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So yeah.
Now, like they're going to this Miami game, and it's just like.
Well, you want to know something too, Pear? Like I know that Florida State fans are saying, "Oh my God, Miami's going to kill us." You know, Miami fans are thinking that they're going to win big. I'm going to tell you this, man. That Miami defense is terrible. I'm not saying that. You know, I think Miami will probably win, but I don't. If that score is as lopsided as it could be. I don't know. I mean, I just don't understand how bad Florida State got this year, honestly, after what happened last year and how they missed on so many guys that transferred from Alabama. And I just don't think, I mean, and I thought Norvell was a better coach than that in terms of the culture and that they looked like they were having fun last year. But it's like after they got, you know, screwed out of not being in the playoff, it's like everybody gave up and left. It's like, oh, we're good. we're good, and that's not Florida State. That Bobby Bowden would be, upside down in his grave right now about that. So it's not right. So and realistically, the fact that Miami and Florida State, once again, only one team is ranked. So that's the rivalry has to get back up to where both teams are ranked and getting the blue chippers, and there's more on the line right now than what it is. So it's that's why the rivalry has suffered, and you know, um, we'll see what happens on Saturday. Tennessee's off this week. Any other teams you're looking forward to seeing play on Friday or sorry Saturday night? This week, because it's kind of a weird week. I think there's some big games next week. I think Ohio State plays Penn State next week, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm sure game day will be there for that one. So but I'm just trying to think of the slate that stood out to me. I know Ohio State and Penn State were off last week. Oh, let me tell you this though, guys. Indiana, whoever that coach is who came from James Madison, that guy can coach. And Indiana beat the absolute shit out of Nebraska, and even without their quarterback who hurt his thumb. And Indiana, I think, is hosting game day this week, which is the first time ever that they've hosted game day. So a couple of places have
Indiana
hosted
and
game day
Washington.
for the first time. Yeah. Yeah. The defending champs. So I expect Indiana to whip the Huskies' ass, honestly. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any major games this week.
It's like I said, that LSU Texas A&M game's probably your best game. So, yeah.
Alabama, Missouri. At this point, the way Alabama's playing, Missouri might win that one.
You know what? Where is
That,
that game at? Is that in
that
Tuscaloosa
is,
or
that is in Alabama at 3:30.
in Alabama? Okay. Well, they played like shit against South Carolina and should have lost. So there you go. So yeah.
Yeah, some of the only top 25 matches I'm seeing are Notre Dame and Navy,
Mm-hmm.
Oregon and Illinois, Bama and Mizzou.
That Oregon Illinois game might be sexy. Brett Bielema's gotten them playing good. Where's that game at? Is it out? Is it at Autzen or is it in Illinois?
It is. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? It's at Oregon.
Okay, Oregon should win. If it was at Illinois, I might be like, keep an eye on that one because every number one team has lost the week after they've been number one.
If Vanderbilt pulls something off against Texas, I'm scared.
That could be an interesting game. It's an SEC Network game at 4:00, if I'm not mistaken.
4:15 at Vandy.
Yeah. I'm going to watch that one. I think I'm going to watch that one. I'm not really impressed with the other 3:30 games or that afternoon slate. So,
yeah, LSU Texas A&M is really the only other big game.
And that's the primetime 8:00 ABC game, I believe, 7:30 ABC. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the big one.
Yeah, there's not any really big games this weekend. They're like, yep, these are most watched besides that one.
Well, they were really wanting Miami and Florida State to be a top 25 game. If Florida State was preseason 10 and Miami was 19.
7 p.m. ESPN game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just kind of weird. If you look at the preseason poll to now, I mean, USC looks horrible. Does Lincoln Riley get fired? I mean, what happens with that?
Ooh.
I mean, their big win is LSU. They've not beaten nobody. And then they blew that lead against Penn State. So I don't know, man. I mean, geez. So.
Man, I look at some of these ticket prices right now.
Oh, it's so disgusting right now for prices. So.
University of Texas San Antonio versus Tulsa. Tickets as low as $2.
Yeah, I mean they're giving them away.
Oregon State, Cal, $10. If you want to go catch good old Lyle Jones versus Troy, $9.
$9. Wow. Two-Pair, I wanted to ask you something real quick because, we're kind of on the cusp of basketball. What were your thoughts about Kansas being the overwhelming preseason top 25 again? I mean, are we going to be laughing at that group in March like we did last year? Because they were supposed to be the best number one team last year. I mean, right now, as far as I'm concerned, until somebody proves me otherwise, Connecticut should have been the preseason number one in men's because nobody has been able to figure that out. So, I don't know what the love of Kansas is.
I feel like the love with Kansas is to the point of historically they typically do that. Like Kansas is always ranked high in the top 5, but this Kansas team, I don't really see it compared to their other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Thing the team that should be starting out number 1 has got to be the defending champs, UConn.
Yeah, has to be. Shane, your thoughts on it, man? I mean, honestly.
Kansas is ranked because that's who they are. It's the blue blood. But I don't like the way they do those things because it's just like, can we base off what they're currently doing and not who they were? Like, basically, take away Notre Dame's always ranked. Like,
mm-hmm. It's the name.
You could be, it's the thing. Like, you could be middle of the pack. It's like, oh, well, because of your name and what you bring into money wise is why we're going to rank you where you are. I don't always agree with it, but it is what it is.
Hey, Two-Pair, can I ask you this? You know that it's kind of funny that it still is happening in college basketball, where they call it the Champions Classic. You know, where Kansas, Duke, Kentucky, and Michigan State, do a round robin and so forth like that. And truth be told, I see Michigan State really sliding out of that conversation, and even more so. What is Kentucky bringing this year? You know, Pope now is their coach, and Calipari's at Arkansas. It's just weird to think this is a college basketball season without Calipari at Kentucky. It's really strange.
Alabama's gonna be a problem.
Alabama is a top 5. You're right, Alabama, and they were good, man. I mean, they were damn good last year. I mean, they were good, and I hate that coach. I can't stand him. But
they know coach though.
Yeah, he can coach. So, and they're giving him whatever. You know, I'd venture to say he's now the most favorited coach after DeBorg. I mean, they might be putting for sale signs in DeBorg's yard if they lose to Missouri on Saturday. So, yeah, I mean, that's a fact. Yeah. Well, guys, let's get to our predictions this week and so forth. Shane, we got week 10 high school, and, we got to pick our Rebels against Halls also as the last game, but we got some sexy matchups, man. We got some sexy matchups. Region championships on the line, playoff seeding. I want to start off with that grudge match in Pistol Creek. Maryville versus Alcoa, number 1 in 3A versus number 2 in 6A. What do you guys got in this one?
I've got Maryville taking the win because Alcoa has to play Monday.
All right. I like that. Two-Pair, what do you think?
Give me Maryville.
I'm going to tell you this. I think the Elis are going to play their hearts out, but you ain't beating Maryville in senior night in the black hole. And I think that Maryville is really wanting to put it on old Alcoa Saturday night or Friday night, and that game is on TV.
They've got the region game Monday.
Yeah. So.
And that means more. That means more playoff wise than Maryville. Bragging rights in Blount County, though, it's still Maryville for me. Because I think something happens that Monday night game that will cost Alcoa the Friday night game.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair. So we've all got Maryville. Here's a game that realistically, and I could be wrong, but Heritage put it on Lenoir City last week like I've never seen a team get put on. I thought Lenoir City was doing a lot better in Coach Cummings' first year, but man, Heritage won 35-0 over Lenoir City. And Heritage is playing Central this week and ultimately could be for the 4th spot in our region. Last year, Heritage lost a heartbreaker at home to Central. Who wins and gets that 4th spot in Region 2? Is it going to be Central or is it going to be Heritage? And the game is at Central. Two-Pair, who do you think? What do you think, Shane?
I'm going Central.
You're going to go Central?
Yep.
Two-Pair, what do you think? Central or Heritage in this one?
Central.
Central. Okay. I'm going to go with Central too. I think that Coach Lane and Central are going to get it done. Close win for Central, and Central will get that fourth playoff spot. Um, Bearden and Morristown West. Bearden rolling right now with this change at quarterback. I've got Bearden rolling against the Trojans up
Yeah,
there.
I got Bearden taking that all day.
Two pair, Bearden or Morristown West?
Bearden.
Okay. This game is a very intriguing game. Both teams are limping in after some pretty big losses. I've mentioned already Heritage beating Lenore City 35-0. Bearden beat the pants off of Oak Ridge last week. Right now, Oak Ridge and Lenore City are playing for the Region 3 championship on Friday night. Who wins it and gets that 1 seed?
Ooh. I go Lenore City. I think Coach Cummings comes and shows them why they should have got rid of him.
God, could you imagine if he did get that win? So, two pair, who you got, Oak Ridge or Lenore City?
Oak Ridge.
I'm going to go with Oak Ridge in this one, but I'm going to tell you this. If Oak Ridge does lose to Lenore City, and the thing is the gamesmanship between Derek Rang and Cummings, they know each other. Cummings knows his defense, and he knows Cummings' offense. So it's going to be a really good chess match. But I'm going to make a prediction, guys, and no offense, because let me ask you this, Shane. Did Carnes clinch at least a playoff spot at this point? They should get is it the third or fourth spot? Because they got to play. Somebody's getting the third, and somebody's getting the fourth.
Yeah, but they got to play Clinton, which is a region game.
Is that this week or next week?
That's this week.
This week. All right, let's pick that one. That's a big game. I got Carnes in that one.
I got Carnes also.
Yeah, I think
they're in the playoffs. I think this has helped seeding wise, but Clinton has been a disaster after everything that went on over there. So I go Carnes. Okay. I like Carnes' defense.
Two pair, who you got, Carnes or Clinton?
Carnes.
I'm going to go with Carnes too. And what I was going to get at was if that happens, theoretically you could have Oak Ridge the 1 seed, Lenore City the 2, Carnes the 3, and the 4th seed would be Clinton ultimately because they've all beaten Campbell County. Campbell County's out. So, yeah. But what I'm getting at is do not be surprised if Region 4, which right now it's looking like some order of Walker Valley, McMinn County, East Hamilton, and if I'm not mistaken, Soddy Daisy, don't be surprised if all 4 of those teams from Region 4 beat Region 3, regardless of one play 4 and 2 playing 3. Region 4 is right now a lot better than Region 3, and I could be wrong, but I just don't see much from Region 3 this year when it comes to playoff time. And Oak Ridge has probably been the most disappointing team of anybody this football season. Farragut and Hardin Valley. Farragut wins, they're in the playoffs. What do you think, two pair, Farragut or Hardin Valley?
I really like the way Farragut been playing lately.
Yeah, I'm right there. Yeah, hey, Shane, I agree with you. I think Farragut wins, and
I think Farragut all day that matchup all day.
Yep, and Farragut's going to be a dangerous team, like you said, as that 4th seed. So, one more game before we pick the big one. Powell goes out of region versus McMinn County. It's going to be at McMinn County. Powell fans already talking on Coach T about referees and how they're going to have to worry about that over there at McMinn County. Could they be looking ahead? They've been pointing to West all year. Powell or McMinn County, who you guys got?
I'm going Powell.
I'm going to go with Powell. I just think that they got too much. I mean, Deuce and Connor, I don't think they're going to be looking ahead at West. I mean, they'll be ready for West, but they're going to take care of business. I mean, they've looked pretty flawless ever since he's been back in the lineup since the Anderson County game.
They play disciplined football, and they don't let the next game get to them before they do that game. So I got Powell.
Yeah, and I don't think McMinn County's wing team is going to do anything against that big defensive line. So that's just what I think. So, all right, and finally, the West Rebels coming off a big win over Anderson County. Is it more of the same, an a lackadaisical win over Halls, or is it an upset in the Devil's Den? Or does West come out and keep it rolling with the team that we hope that they can be and we know that they can be as their quest to get ready for Powell possibly next week for the region championship? Two pair, who do you got, Halls or West?
West.
Got a score prediction?
24.
24-21. Okay. Go ahead, Shane.
I'm going West over Halls. And my score prediction, based off what I've seen, and if West comes out and plays football like we need them to play, West wins 38-10.
I like that score a lot. I'm actually going to go West 38 because that's been the magic number, it seems, this year. And I like Halls with 14. So I think the Rebels get a solid win like they've done against Central and Heritage. And it's going to be, we're going to talk about it next Wednesday, a special pre-Halloween. So wear your costumes if you got them, guys, because I'm going to be wearing mine as we preview that Powell game next Friday night for, I believe, the region championship. So, but great show tonight, guys. Two pair. I want you to close us out like we always do, man. It's been an amazing show, and thank you for the chat box, Larry Frank, Stephen Johnson. Thank you for participating, guys, honestly. And anybody that watches or watch it live, watch it recorded, hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely share the show and definitely participate in that chat box. We love those opinions. But two pair, close us out, brother, like you always do.
Hey, man, love, peace, and chicken grease. It was another great show. Just getting ready for just another great week of football because we only have so many weeks left of it. It's gone. So, hey, Rebels calls, and it doesn't stop. The calls don't stop when the clock strikes zero. So, them up, man.
You bet. Great show, guys. Go Rebels, and hopefully we're talking about another big win for our Rebels. See you at Halls.